potential to be special. Thomas Rawls might have the potential to be special. And I look at some of the Darren Sproles type of running backs around the league. He could be that guy. He could fill the shoes for Marshawn, who might not be long for the NFL. You know, he might be getting close to being done.
Right, and for all those 12th man members of the 12th man that want to say, yeah, but it's against the Bears, stop. I don't want I don't even want to hear that, okay? Because the simple fact of the matter is, these are the type of games where guys like Kristen Michael or even Robert Turbin that couldn't even excel in these type of games, where a guy like Thomas Rawls gets 16 carries, and I love the fact that he's getting those carries and not Fred Jackson. I like the fact that they're using Fred Jackson as a third down back in a blocking situation. They're giving Thomas Rawls the opportunity to make a name for himself.
Held on to the football, didn't he, Commando?
Well, right, but he also hit those. He also showed he had a good lateral movement, a good first step, and his ability to lower his pads and blast the dude right in his chest. I love that.
Yeah,
love that about the kid. He was fearless. I love that.
So, and you know, say what you want to, right quick, Cap. Say what you want to say about Marshawn Lynch. I think number 24's end is another Super Bowl all out of the bus. You know, if Jerome Bettis can go out like that, so can Beast Mode, you know, in Cali. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That would be
in his hometown.
Thank you, California. No, so as long as Marshawn Lynch is ready for the playoffs, like you guys just talked about, Thomas Rawls, undrafted rookie out of Central Michigan, is blue enough for me too.
If you got a guy that's is gonna be good enough to carry the workload where you can get Marshawn Lynch healthy, fair enough. And at the same time, I don't have a problem if he pulls a Shaq. I have no problem if it takes him the next 8 weeks to get right, and all of a sudden he comes right back right at crunch time and get healthy for the playoffs. That's when you're going to need the beast.
So Pete Carroll said today that it's going to be a game time decision for Beast Mode, that he wants to go. They're doing everything that they can to get him to go, but they don't know. So I'm not as concerned as I would have been a year ago or 2 years ago, and because that's how much Thomas Rawls impressed me. But at the same time, I love seeing Marshawn Lynch in there. He's just got that extra dynamic that you're not going to find in too many guys. Thomas Rawls doesn't have it yet. He might be able to show it to us down the road, but not yet. And you probably can name 4 running backs in the NFL that do have it, what Beast Mode has. So, do you think he's going to play, Commando? What do you think? I mean, we've heard hamstring, ankle, like 4 different injuries that he's had, and it seems like it's legit this time. Not hungover, not too much Patron the night before. These are legit injuries. So, A, do you think he's going to play? And B, are we seeing the cliff drop off like we did for Sean Alexander and just about every other running back that's close to 30 or turns 30?
Captain, bite your tongue. Bite your tongue.
He's got to ask the question.
Yeah, I know,
it's a legit question because he is beat up.
Well, that's just the thing. We see this. It doesn't matter who you are. And a guy like Marshawn Lynch, we've seen him with a lot more staying power than a number of running backs. I'm hoping it's not just the dropping off the cliff, as you mentioned, but I'm looking for him to play Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly hope he does, but again, I'm not as concerned as I would have been over the last several years.
Right.
Just because of what I saw in Thomas Rawls and the fact that he held on to the football, didn't fumble it like Kristen Michael, caught passes out of the backfield, didn't drop them like Turbin did. I feel really good about it. Monday Night Football is extremely special to the Seahawks. They've got the best winning percentage in the NFL on Monday Night Football. We can harken back all the way to the days of Efren Herrera and Jim Zorn and Howard Cosell giving accolades to Jack Patera for being an innovator and creative and exciting. Monday Night Football has always been extremely special. There's no way that the Seahawks are going to lose this game. We'll get to our predictions later on.
None.
But what do you want to see against the Lions? Here comes the Detroit Lions, who no more Ndamukong Suh, no more Fairley. They've got some injuries on defense. Their offense should be their strength with Stafford, who throws for a lot of big numbers. They've got Golden Tate. They've got Megatron. They've got Ebron and a kind of a stable of tight ends. They can do some things on offense, so it'll be a better test for the Seahawks defense, I believe, overall. And an easier defense to play against for the Seahawks offense than the Bears, if you can imagine that.
No, you're right. You're right. You know, what's interesting about this, though, I mean, again, this is going to be another opportunity for the Seahawks just to get right again. I mean, for everything that you guys have been, giving me shit about, the fact that, we just came off a shutout, and I'm still a little, unsatisfied, but now you get another opponent where you have, again, on your home turf and about ready to pin your ears back because you know for a fact they have an absolute terrible offensive line. So now you have an opportunity again to get to Matt Stafford. Maybe you can draw up a few turnovers and get that momentum back to Russell Wilson. And in a situation where, you know, even if beast mode is not 100%, if he's not going to be playing, okay, that's fine. You still got, you know, you still got Thomas Rawls who can carry the load. I think he can carry the load. I'm completely 100% with you on that. And so, you know, even if you only give him 15 carries, you still got enough targets out there. You're going to be able to put points on the board. This is a good opportunity for them. I just want them to be consistent. That's it. I don't need it to be sexy. I don't need a big crooked number. If I would like to see a crooked number, but you don't need to. I just want to see consistency across the board in all three facets. That's what I want to see.
Well, you mentioned the potent offense of the Lions, and the beauty of Pete Carroll's Seahawks is the emphasis, of course, on defense, even if the offense isn't kicked into high gear. You know, my high school coach used to always say, if they can't score, they can't win.
That's right. That's true.
So,
that's true.
You know, and although, as you say, Insider Steve, it was the Sad News Bears from Chicago, it was still another excellent example of the Seahawks defense holding it down for the offense. And now with Tyler Lockett, special teams has, you know, kind of given the offense a little breathing room. And, you know, when a guy's taking it to the house 105-yard style in 12 seconds, you know what I'm saying? The offense just kind of gets to play with a little bit of house money. So what I'm really looking forward to seeing is that defense. I'm looking for the Legion of Boom. Let's just call it what it is. I'm looking for the Legion of Boom.
Week 2 for Cam back.
Right. Against these receivers and this quarterback, I'm looking for the Legion of Boom on Monday night to be back, because they weren't last week, of course, getting back.
Yeah.
And so now I want the Legion of Boom to be back. That's what I'm looking for.
Interesting thing against the Bears. Two things that we saw that we haven't really seen in the Pete Carroll era. One, Cam Chancellor did get a few boos coming out of the tunnel being introduced. Kind of thought that he might. The offense was booed very quickly. Very quickly. So I don't know if they're booing the offense or if they're booing Darrell Bevel. He's still the lightning rod in this town. Fire Bevel. It's like I always say, it's like the hitting coach. You know, you got to get rid of somebody to make a change. Can they throw the ball downfield, for fuck's sake? Seriously? I mean, seriously. Why can't you take 2 shots in a row? Boom, boom. Streak routes. Put your man Lockett down there and then throw out Jermaine Kearse. Whatever. Take a couple shots.
I thought they threw a lot more this game than they had in the previous 3.
But they're not throwing that deep ball.
2.
How about that deep ball that Kearse caught for a touchdown against the Packers to go to the Super Bowl? How come we don't see more of that shit?
Yeah, Russell had 30
It's not a desperation situation.
But that's what Wilson does. He throws it right down the chimney. Boom.
You're right.
So you bring up a good point, because again, right at the top of this show, I mean, like you had the crappy Chicago Bears, the putrid Chicago Bears, the horrible Chicago Bears, they probably belong in the whack Chicago Bears.
See what you started?
In your house, and that's the whole thing is you actually had
his case.
You just had
brought it down.
You had matchups early on where you had one-on-one matchups the outside the numbers, and you have a guy like Tyler Lockett that literally can burn any of those cats on any given down. And you're not even taking a 2-step drop and just putting the ball on 1-1 and just letting him use his speed. We didn't see that.
Maybe we'll see that coming up against the Lions. I expect we'll see Jimmy Graham get more touches again. Like I said, he should get a minimum of 8 targets, right? 2 a quarter. That's not too much to ask for your guy. He doesn't have to be in the red zone. And you and I had this conversation, Steve, last week. I'm like, develop some plays for him. Doesn't have to be. And you said, well, it's not like Percy Harvin, it's a tight end position, but guess what they did? They developed some plays for him. They found a way to do it.
I don't know if it was necessarily just specifically developing specific routes or whatever. I think it was just there. I think they just made a conscious effort to make sure that it's typical quarterback thing. You want to get a guy into an early rhythm. So I mean, it's just they made a purpose to make sure that they got him in good matchups and gave the ball. But it seemed like the first 10 passes, it just seemed like they really were making a concerted effort to make sure that he got the ball, and it didn't really matter if it was a good matchup or a bad matchup. They just went to him. Period.
I saw him going down the field to Chris Matthews as well.
Yeah, I mean they're trying to work that whole thing in. So I think, like I said, the offense is a work in progress. I hopefully see it improve each week,
Mm-hmm.
and it might not be as quickly as we want, but if the defense can continue to do what they do, and think about this, Matthew Stafford, I think he's a pretty good quarterback myself, but he will throw interceptions. He will.
Right.
He throws the ball a lot, so the odds are in favor of him throwing some picks. This is a great time to see what the Seahawks defense can do as far as being ball hawks. Can Earl get himself a pick? Can Cam, if they go to Ebron and Cam's on the tight end, can he get himself a pick? That's what I want to see out of the defense.
Is Richard Sherman still Richard Sherman?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. And by
That's
the
what
way,
I want to see.
by the way, Golden Tate is going to have a horrible game this week. Straight up, I'm expecting the Seahawks defense to straight pump Golden Tate in every single way.
Here's why. The only reason he would have a bad game, in my opinion, is if Stafford sucks at throwing him the ball. Because I watched Golden Tate in practice work our DBs pretty good. I'm not talking in his first year. I'm talking Golden before he left, when he matured and started thinking a little bit, learning how to run routes. He would take Sherman to the house. He could do some things, and he's going to have a huge chip on his shoulder because the Hawks gave him this offer that was like, fuck you, we don't really want you, and if you accept it, we'll take you. But
Right.
And I think he's still pissed about that.
I just think it's with everything that went on with the drama that was involved, and I just
I mean, when he banged Wilson's
wife, seriously, when he took Ashton,
or when he got punched in the face by Percy Harvin. Which one of those are you talking about?
Right, exactly. I mean, when he took old boy's wife behind the woodshed and just put it to him. Put it to her. I mean, listen. I mean,
is this TMZ?
There's a lot of animosity between Golden Tate and the Seattle Seahawks, and I just have a feeling that though those boys back in the secondary are going to defend the home turf against a dude like Golden Tate. Straight up, by the way, a straight punk. By the way, that dude is nothing but a straight punk with a capital P.
Who?
Oh, Golden Tate.
Really?
Dude,
you've always hated him though. You've had a chip on your shoulder about Golden Tate since they drafted him.
Dude,
I loved him.
This goes back to his days in high school. I didn't like him in high school. I didn't like him at Notre Dame, and I like Notre Dame, by the way, and I hated him in Notre Dame. He seriously it defiled the Golden Dome. He comes to Seattle, and I'm like, you know what? You are nothing but a glorified special teams performer that can't catch the deep ball. 50-50 balls. You want to sit there when the balls go through your hand. You want to sit there and call for a flag.
He got his girlfriend too.
Seriously, by the way, I dare you to come up and touch my wife.
So you do realize that he basically single-handedly embarrassed the Washington Huskies, right? Yeah. For that reason alone, I like him.
Right,
Commando.
Right, I mean...
He might be the best 50-50 ball catcher I've ever seen. He's done it in high school.
Yeah.
You've seen the video. He's done it in Notre Dame.